What's up, Cowboys Nation? A new season is upon us, and first we got to get through that preseason. Well, welcome back to the channel. Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams just finished week 1 of the preseason. Cowboys went to SoFi, and they lose by 1 point to the Los Angeles Rams, 13-12. And look. I know it's the preseason. But this kind of still sucked just losing this game this way. If you're just jumping on, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'm going to be here all season long. I'm super excited to be back for another season here with Cowboys content. But what a spectacular way of losing this game. I always make the joke that if you've been a fan enough of the Dallas Cowboys, you know that there's 1,000 ways to lose. And the Cowboys find very funny ways, playoff time, postseason time, regular season time, preseason time, to lose games. And this one has got to be up there. Stetson Bennett gets the most of the playing time, all the playing time for the Los Angeles Rams, throws 4 interceptions. Should have been 5 if we're being honest. If I'm looking at that play, I see the holding call on the Cowboys defense, but I also see the blatant offensive holding call, the offensive holding on the left tackle. So that should have offset. But regardless, 4 interceptions from Stetson Bennett, and the Cowboys only mustered 12 points. So it was basically the Los Angeles Rams 13 and Brandon Aubrey 12. But that's the game in a nutshell. Defense got a few picks. I'm not going to go out there and say it's because of scheme and we're back and who needs DQ, we got ball hawks or anything like that. I really don't think it's any of that. And you guys know me. I'm real. I'm unbiased. I'm realistic. I'm going to give it to you the way that a lot of fans are going to give you. So, I don't think there's much to get hyped of. I think if you look at all those throws, it was just terrible ball placement by Stetson Bennett. Just awful. Just an awful game. But kudos to him. Found something at the end there to get the win. Took until that very last play on 4th down. But again, hats off to our guys for picking it off. 4 interceptions is tough in this league, preseason, regular season. First one went to Marquise Bell. Let's talk about him, and we're going to break down some pros and cons, strengths, weaknesses from what I saw today. Marquise Bell, really fun player to watch. Last regular season, obviously played a lot of linebacker. Cowboys are moving them back to safety, and he's picking up right where we left off. I mean, he's a stud. He's going to be so much fun to watch with this defense come this year, and he had 1 interception. Eric Scott Jr., our draft pick from last year, had another interception. Now, I'm grateful that he got it. I don't know if it's going to save him from not making the 53-man. Seemed like he struggled a lot in man coverage, and I feel like that interception was kind of just right place, right time, caught the ball, but definitely had a tough day. And speaking about tough days, I mean, you got to talk about Kalen Carson. Kalen Carson was our rookie draft pick from this past year's draft class, was hearing and seeing a lot of great things from training camp from Kalen Carson, but struggled a lot in this game. I get it. First NFL game. But definitely need him to step up, and I just wasn't expecting that after having really such a good training camp and was just a stud in training camp. To have that little bit, a bit of a lackluster performance in the preseason was pretty surprising. Julius Wood, though, gets the 3rd interception, which was pretty crazy. It was awesome to see him get in the game. And then Brock Morgensen, 1 interception is right there. Not too sure if he's going to make the 53-man, but good depth right there. Could make the practice squad. That one irks me a little bit because that was, again, a bad play from Bennett. Cowboys had a good return on that. They were in field goal range, and they did absolutely nothing offensively with Trey Lance at the helm. They just went 11 yards back, but thank God for Brandon Aubrey. Went 4 or 5 today, obviously missing a 65-yarder. Not going to hold a grudge against you for missing a 65-yarder, especially from Brandon Aubrey. But that's the defense. Like I said, a few players there that I expected to be better or at least make some improvements didn't make the improvements that I thought they would. On the other side, the pass rush was just completely non-existent. I get we don't have everyone up there. You know, we don't have the Tank. We don't have D-Law. We don't have Micah. We don't have Osa. I get it. But just no pass rush except the one sack towards the end of the game. But Mazi Smith actually looked better. I was actually really surprised to see Mazi Smith make that step. And he looks better. He looks better, and that's pretty exciting to see, and hopefully he can capitalize on that. Now let's jump to the offensive side, right? Cooper Rush got the first drive. Whatever. Okay. We know what Cooper Rush can give us. We know what he can offer us. But let's talk about Trey Lance. Let's spend a little bit of time on Trey Lance because that's probably the big thing that everyone will be talking about. And like I said, I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm not going to spend too much time on this preseason recap. And I really want to know your thoughts about Trey Lance because I feel like Cowboys Nation will be split when it comes to Trey Lance. I'll tell you the way it is. He is a top 5 draft pick, right? Drafted by the 49ers, has had a few games that he has started, so this is not his first time on an NFL field. He's been out there during the regular season, and this is his 4th year and has sat behind a lot of quarterbacks. I just think that at that point, when you add that context, right, he's not a rookie. When you add that context, at this point, you would hope things would click for him, and you would just basically expect him to be better at this point. And the spotlight's really on him because Dak's contract situation and the future of who's going to be that quarterback position. That's what the front office has geared our attention to be like, hey, we traded a 4th rounder for this guy. He could be it. And he's a top 5 overall draft pick. So the expectation is there. So if you're hard on him and if you're critiquing him or if you expected more of him, that's fine. That's okay. And I will implore Cowboys Nation to bring that because I think everything that I mentioned, the context of the situation, yes, we should expect better from Trey Lance. Now, I get it. He's playing with undrafted players. He's playing with first-time players seeing the NFL field. But again, when we talk about franchise quarterbacks, when we talk about quarterbacks of the future, we can look at and compare to what we've seen because we've seen Dak Prescott play in the preseason. In his rookie season, he was spectacular. He had such a great preseason that it really got us excited to see what he could do. And then obviously with Romo going down, it opened that door for Dak. Same thing with Romo. You look at those preseasons that he had leading up to the start and taking over on Monday night against the Giants and then starting against Carolina. You saw the potential. You saw not just potential because you can make a player to be like, they got potential. But there were key characteristics and traits that you saw in both of them in their preseason games. And I'm talking about Romo and Dak. And you look at Trey Lance today, he's a step behind. He's 2 steps behind. He's very fun in terms of pocket presence where he escapes, but it's almost like he's too quick to want to run the ball and not want to stick in that pocket and to deliver the throw. That's a major concern of me. I don't want Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. I want someone that can deliver the throw. And that was something that was concerning to me. And I know it's only one preseason game, but again, there's a little bit of urgency with wanting to see Trey Lance take that extra step. I saw that he has a great arm. I mean, he can throw that ball down the field, but part of a quarterback is just not how far you can throw it. It's about how well you can throw it to. Can you throw a catchable ball? And I just felt like he missed a lot of guys. Again, if he's a rookie, we can reevaluate it through that lens and through that context. But with all the context that I just mentioned, he's got to make those throws. He's got to be able to make those throws at this point of his career. So definitely a lackluster performance. I mean, if we look at the stats, 25 of 41, 188 yards in a preseason game, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and that's just, you have to be better. You have to be better. And I think this is a game that they should have won, especially with all the opportunities that they had defensively. So that's my take on Trey Lance. We also got 2 more games to evaluate this, right? But I felt like we should have expected more, and he didn't. And right now, it looks like he's not the future after Dak Prescott. So therefore, Dak Prescott has all the leverage. Not like he didn't have before. I mean, he did, but even more after we visibly saw what could be the future without Dak Prescott. So that's my initial take on the game. I could care less about who wins or loses, but the spotlight's on Trey Lance. I want to hear from you. What did you think about Trey Lance? Were there any other players or moments that I forgot to mention that you want to comment down below? But other than that, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and go Cowboys.